Oh, it's Marte the Business Healer. So today we're talking about feeling stuck in scarcity despite feeling or experiencing success externally. So a couple of things that I'd like to ask. So these are prompts. Feel free to grab a pen, take as much time as you need to, pause the video. But first thing is, what does prosperity mean to you? And maybe prosperity is something that you haven't experienced in the way that you'd like, but we are here for what that might look like, even if it feels like a bit of imagination. Second prompt is, where do you feel most blocked in terms of your prosperity? Often I find in my work with my clients that they're blocking themselves and they know where and they know kind of what's behind it, but they may not know how many layers deep that is. And then the third prompt is, what would change if you felt truly abundant? So what could be possible for you? What might you experience? What would you like to experience if you felt truly, truly abundant? So I'm talking about this topic today because I have several clients lately who are very traditionally successful. They have money, but money is not the problem. They are still feeling scarcity. They're feeling locked into a feeling of scarcity despite having what meets their needs and what might even, to some, look very, very appealing. When we're feeling scarce, there's just something that isn't complete. So the problem here that we're talking about is high achieving people, people who are really driven, people who mean well, who are fantastic professionals, often face these blocks to prosperity, where it seems slightly out of reach, or we have just enough but not more. And one recent client came to me with $1 million business and more, but she was still feeling really trapped into living month to month. Now on paper, she's making $1 million, but really feeling trapped into this feeling like she can't break out of this pattern of having just enough, just in time for all of her bills and all of her obligations to come due. So that's something that I wouldn't consider living and thriving. And that's something that this client, Jen, was also not living and thriving. And that's something that she came to me specifically because she wanted to resolve that. There are many markers to success, but success in one area does not necessarily mean thriving. We may be experiencing abundance externally, but we still are feeling or experiencing lack or limitation or scarcity in other areas. So how does scarcity look when it shows up? Chronically being overwhelmed, feeling stressed, never feeling like you're enough or your resources are enough or your clients are enough or whatever it might be. Something inside is signaling to the universe there's not enough. And a lot of people, a lot of my clients act out of fear that there won't be enough, or they don't act out of fear that they won't be enough. Also, difficulty receiving. When you are not open to receive, it's really hard to live in thriving. I have a friend who walks into a room and she says, I know instantly the person with the most money and the person who's most interesting is going to be magnetized to me because I'm a money magnet. That is a mindset that not a lot of us have, and it's a really joyful thing to hear somebody say that out loud because it really is different from how most of us are living. Difficulty receiving is not something that that person has a challenge with, but many people feel like maybe they don't deserve more or they don't need to take up space. Constant doing versus being is another way that we can experience this scarcity. So when we're doing, our actions don't necessarily mean that we're getting results. Sometimes there's just like space we're filling with doing because we believe on some level that the doing will yield the prosperity that we're looking for. And self-sacrifice. When we give to others, not to ourselves, we postpone joy, we postpone rest. These are all things that keep us stuck in scarcity. So if any of these feel normal, real, resonant with you, it's totally okay. I've been there, many of my clients have been there, and that's something that we look to address. So one of the things that I found is really, really helpful in addressing these problems of feeling stuck in these patterns of scarcity is to find a way to identify the root causes, what actually is creating this mindset, what is creating this perpetual lack in some or all the areas of your life. The second thing is we can start to clear the energetic blocks. And because these blocks are energy, their thoughts, their feelings, we know they're real. We may not necessarily be able to see them, but they are made of energy, and we can use energy to start to identify and bring those out of the energy body so that we can start to have a new energetic signature and therefore start to live a different reality. So energy is a tool for you to help end your blocks. And I've had so many clients that have created so much success as a result of using energy as a tool through our work. It's lovely. So that is available to you. And the third way that we can start to solve this problem of the pattern of scarcity or feeling trapped in scarcity is to plant new prosperity patterns. It's really hard to do that if we don't have some clearing and we don't have some awareness as to where this came from or what is creating the pattern. It's much, much harder to overwrite the system if you don't know what is creating the problem, because honestly, when we don't understand why we're getting the results we get, we keep getting them because there is something unconscious there. So I have a process that I use. It's a 4-step process. My 4 steps are: first, understand. Again, if you understand what's causing the pattern, you have some power to try and reverse the pattern or overwrite the pattern or release the pattern. Second thing is the release. So we use energy to release the pattern from inside us. The third step is clarity. When we have reclaimed our energy, we have the ability to be clear as to what really is real. And without all of the energetic blocks and old thinking and patterns, we can start to realize what it is that we truly want. And then strategy is the 4th part. So once we understand, once we release, once we have clarity, then we can begin to design what comes next. If you have an old pattern, you don't just create a new pattern. You think about, well, how are we going to resolve this? So that's what we do in any sort of work with me. So I have an upcoming retreat called the Half-Day Prosperity Retreat, where we're going to go through the 4 steps: understand, release, get clarity, and form strategy. And we're going to do an opening circle. We're going to create sacred space. And then we're going to get into those patterns. We're going to get into pattern recognition, understand the root cause of the scarcity thinking. We're going to see where you're being, doing, or maybe experiencing not enough, where that came from. By the way, prosperity is all sorts of different things. It's not just money. It's also your relationship with time. It's your relationship with your finances, how you feel about your money, not just if it's there or not, and other kinds of resources, work and purpose, health and vitality, so our well-being, our relationships, including your relationship with yourself, which in my book is the most important relationships you have in your community, your self-development, your growth, your understanding of what it is you want to achieve in your life. Also, family and legacy. So when we think about family, we think about relationships, but we also think about what happens with the generations and what is it that we want to leave as a legacy, what have we inherited as a legacy. So one thing that drives me nuts about most planning sessions for the new year is that they're all based on these aspirational goals that when you actually try to put them into practice feel totally overwhelming, and therefore most of us just give up. Most of us just scrap the plan and stop. But the idea of what we're doing is we're creating a framework that is flexible to what happens in the real world once we're out there and putting it into action. Because my years of strategic planning have shown me that you can have a great plan, but when the rubber meets the road, like some world event happens that changes everything. If you have a framework and you have principles, it's going to be a whole lot easier to act on than something that requires you to hit all these targets. And if you get at all behind, it feels totally overwhelming and upsetting. So in the half-day retreat, we go through those areas of prosperity, and we also do a vision activation. So we're looking at our future self. We activate that future self with new patterns, and we create those maps for prosperity patterns that we desire to live. We also have a beautiful, nourishing, wonderful lunch. We are doing the retreat in person. We're also doing it on Zoom. If you're doing it on Zoom, we'll have a DoorDash credit for you. And then in the afternoon, we're going to do strategy. So we're going to do the vision statement for Prosperous 2025, sketch out some actions, some targets, and look at aligning resources with that. So we use a framework. It's designed to be used in action, and it is designed to be calibrated to, or to allow it to calibrate. So it's a skeleton, it flexes so that you can move, but it's not something that is totally rigid. So that's part of what I love about this. We also do energy clearing at the end. We're going to then cleanse our blocks and energize our plans, and then we're going to bless. And when we do this in group, the group energy of this is so important because group energy is more powerful than individual energy. If you've ever meditated or had a musical experience in a group, you know how group energy really boosts it up, really amplifies it. So when we do this as a group, we also bless our intentions, which means you're getting a little boost and you're also helping other people boost their success, their visions. And when you give, you're entitled to receive. So it's a beautiful thing. So what results do we get when we do the half-day retreat? So first thing is you have a vision for 2025 and what prosperity looks like. Most people just live day to day. They don't ever really achieve their dreams. They don't really think about how their dreams might happen. But when you have a clear vision of what prosperity looks like in 6 or 7 areas of your life, you're going to already start moving the energy in that direction. So energy follows thought. When you are mapping out what does prosperity look like and feel like in your body in 2025, you're already moving the energy. I've been doing this since 2009, and it has changed my life because it's something that I look forward to every year. I don't blame myself for what happened. I just look at what did I learn, what happened, and where did that land me, and then what is possible from there. So when we understand our blocks, when we understand our patterns, we are actually empowered to move forward and not just be a victim to what happens in our lives. When we have an idea of what we desire, what we envision, what we want, and we start thinking about like, well, how might that happen? Even if it's just, how might that happen, ... Leave it curious, leave it open to the universe. The universe is already answering and trying to fill those gaps for you. Just doing the exercise of the visioning can be a very transformational process because quite often I have done the visioning and left everything else up to the universe, and still things have fallen into place that I didn't imagine, or that when I look back, I'm like, oh, I thought about that, but I didn't actually make an action. So that's the lovely thing when you're starting to use energy. You have a lot more of the forces of the universe that are working on your behalf. So there's a practical element, which is you have a better understanding of what created your 2024, what created the patterns that have brought you to where you are. And we look at creating new patterns. We have your vision, and we also add energy. So you have not just a plan and a framework, but something that is flexible that can move with you as you move into your new year. And the long-term results that you can get from this practice is this deeper self-understanding. We also look at where you've been resisting success. Where is it that you haven't been allowing that energy to flow into your life, or that prosperity to be? Where have we been living the just enough but not more, like my client Jen, who's got $1 million business? When we have an expanded capacity to receive because we are clear energetically and we have our vision out in the universe, we're so much more powerful because we are then aligned with the intention of receiving, like my friend the money magnet. And we can take aligned action without controlling, without pushing, without forcing, without clenching. These are things that a lot of people who want to achieve big things, they find it hard to be a little detached from how that will happen. But the nice thing about the framework is there is room for the universe to deliver on your behalf. And often when we stop clenching, that's when we get what we want. There's also sustainable transformation here. We're not looking to edit who you are. We're not looking to apologize for the past. We're just looking to create an energy shift inside that can move you forward. And when you are willing to and committed to letting go of old patterns, you really are in a very powerful place where you are sustaining transformation day to day. The vision is already the start of your transformation. Last two things that are the results of this particular workshop are enhanced self-trust. Self-trust is the number one place where I find that people derail their own prosperity. Because when you don't trust yourself, you don't trust the universe, and that puts you in that clenching, worried, anxious place. It's just not a place of empowerment. And often the times in my life, like starting my own business, I had no idea where clients would come from. I had no idea where revenue would come from. When I just committed to being successful, outlining what it would feel like and what it would be like to do the work, I let go. I stepped away. I gave that space, that detachment. I just ran into people, and that created work. And that's not how I necessarily would have planned it if I were like really clenching hard and trying to control what success would look like. So I know the value of trusting myself, trusting the universe. And that's one place where once you start to do that, it really is transformational. And then the last thing that you would get as a result is looking at prosperity in a full spectrum way all across your life, which is not something that most prosperity retreats look at. They just look at money. They just look at investing. Investing means many things, by the way. How you invest your time and your energy is definitely an investment that yields results. But what we're looking at is full spectrum prosperity across all areas of your life, including time and productivity, family, relationships, career, etc. So you will get an actual roadmap for what you want to call in and what you want to achieve in 2025. If this doesn't resonate with you, please go ahead and find another modality or another process or another teacher who will guide you to what feels right to you. But if this does feel right to you and you're interested in learning more, I want to share just a couple details about the retreat and what it entails. So it's going to be January 31st or February 1st. I'm offering 2 dates, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have Zoom and we have in-person options in Miami if you're in Miami. Lunch is included either way. You have a workbook and you have a little bit of pre-work that is totally optional, but if you register, you definitely have access to that. So if this calls to you, I would urge you to go ahead and take some action, get your ticket. You can get that from the link in my bio. I'll put it in the description below. It's also on Eventbrite if that's where you'd like to search. So before we close, I want to anchor back into our bodies after all of this information. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes if you feel like it. And just take a moment of gratitude for your life, for everything you've experienced. However you feel about it, it is a sacred thing to be. And our lives are not just our experiences of good or bad, positive or negative, however you view it. Our experiences are valid and important because they are the lens through which we have lived this sacred human experience. And all of that is really, really important, really, really special. So feel gratitude for your life. Feel gratitude for what you have, all of the people, the helpers along the way, and for the energy that you have, which keeps you alive, keeps your body moving, keeps you on your path. Grateful to be here with you. Thank you so much, and I will see you again. Bye for now.